Yes, thank you so much, wonderful family here on social media platform. We have been united by the internet worldwide, and we have become a global village. We now discuss same issues globally, and in this program, we touch so many subjects here on Sly Media TV. It's called Walk the Talk. Ngati dzifambire ini ndinonza Sylvester Tapfuma nei tinofara zvikuru nekuramba muchititsigira pano pa Sly Media TV. We continue to share several issues together daily. Vamwe venyu munoshare maprogramu atinoita, munokomenta maprogramu atinoita, uye chikuru chatinonyanya kukufarira ndechekuti vazhinji venyu hamuna kuregera kulike mapages edu nekufollowa mapages edu pa YouTube kana panga pa Facebook. Muri kuramba muchingotitsigira. Izvozvo zvinotipasa manyemwe kuti tirambe tichingokupai maprograms pano pa Sly Media TV. Hazvinyadzise kuti taure kuti tisu the biggest online underline news channel in Zimbabwe, 308,000 followers on YouTube. It's a milestone. Nekudaro ataigona kuzviita izvozvo kana musipo imimi munotitsigira. Tinonamba chikupa zvirongwa zvamunofarira pano pa Sly Media TV. Yeukai kuti zuva nezuva atiregere kuposta news dzakasiyana siyana tichikupai nyaya dzatinowana munzvimbo dzakasiyana siyana pano pa Sly Media TV. Nekudaro tinopfurira mberi tichingoramba tichidaro. Nhasi tauya nenyaya iri kupisa, iri nyaya yekuti vanhu vazhinji vakabirwa mari kuburikidza nerwendo rwavaida kuita vachienda kuUnited Kingdom. Vakabirwa mari vachitraya kuti vagadzirise nyaya dzecertificate of sponsorship iri kuzikanwa nevazhinji kuti CoS. Vazhinji iye zvine zvavasi kuziva kuti voita sei, havasi kuziva kuti voenda kunani kuti vabatsirike, asi vanhu vakabirwa mari dzakawanda dzinopfuura pa 1000 zvichienda kumberi. Vakavabira mari iye zvine zvavakadisappear, hatichazive kuti varipi, havachadaire mafoni, vakachinja maadress epavaigara. Vamwe vakanga vanyoresa kuti vane makambani muzvikuru sei muUK umu vachitiwo tinouya tichikubatsirai tirapa, asi vachinge vapedza kubira vanhu mazakwatira emari vakabva vadisappear. Hatichazive kuti varipi. Vamwe vacho vakauya kuno kuZimbabwe vakabirwa vakasara kuUK, havasi kuziva kuti vanovasvikira sei vanhu ivavo. Uyewo vamwe vakabirwa vari muno nevamwe vanhu vari kuUK, havasi kuziva kuti vanovasvikira sei vanhu vakadaro. Tabata mukuru weTanlo Law Society iri kuUnited Kingdom, iri kuCoventry uku. Makadiko vari kuCoventry kuWarwickshire uku. Aiwa muri represented nhasi uno. Tina Andrew Nyamayaro, who I would say is the director and principal solicitor of Tanlo solicitors in United Kingdom. Solicitor is it rinomirira malawyer kazhinji kachona kana vari kuUnited Kingdom. Zvakangosiyana mukutaura chete asi mabasa akasiyana. He is the past immediate president of the Warwick Law Society in UK. He has served as a council member of the Law Society of England and Wales. Andrew is experienced in several areas of law, which include immigration, family, business, employment, and human rights law. He has a vast experience in dealing with clients from different cultural and ethnic background. Mr. Nyamayaro was educated, born and bred in Zimbabwe, educated at the University of Zimbabwe, and practiced in Zimbabwe before he went to UK. I would want to welcome him in this program. Mr. Nyamayaro, thank you so much for visiting Zimbabwe and also choosing Sly Media TV to speak with you about current issues that are bedeviling our own communities that are based in Zimbabwe and abroad.
Thank you so much for welcoming me, and I'm really enjoying to be in this place so far. Thank you for having me.
What is the difference, especially when you have spent some little bit of time in UK and then you visit us here in United Kingdom in terms of everything, driving, money, trying to do transactions, and eco-cash, all those things involved are surrounding you. How do you navigate when you come to Zimbabwe?
Well, in terms of the currency, it's a multi-currency economy, so I'm trying to get used as to which currency to use, the exchange rates and so forth. In terms of driving, In the UK, there's a bit of more order with with the driving here. So you are driving for other people, not for yourself only. But yeah, above all, everything is quite interesting. I'm enjoying myself here a lot.
Why do you trust coming to Zimbabwe? Because I hear I hear a lot of people saying, kumusha ndenda kunodi, kumusha zvinhu zvakadhakwa, Zimbabwe yakaparara. You have an opportunity to come here in between the two borders. How do you find it in terms of people who also say, kumusha zvinhu zvakadhakwa? Mukuzviona zvakadhakwa here? Mvotudze yemakombi tainzwa.
As they say, blood is thicker than water. And so no matter whatever problems that we have in Zimbabwe, every country has got its own problems. But whatever problems we have, Zimbabwe is always my home. So I enjoy coming back home. I've got family here. I've got friends that are here. I've got a network of people, colleagues that I have, and things that I enjoy doing in Zimbabwe. So we are contributing to family life, to the economy, to the society. So people in the diaspora, please come visit Zimbabwe. There's a lot of things to do.
There you are, domestic tourism. Please come and visit Zimbabwe. International tourism. Kana masvika kuno endaiwo kuna nachino caves tiri kudawo mari muchienda muchinobhadhara ikoko tichingodaro. Yes, before we talk about the banning issue yenyaya yema-certificate of sponsorship, vanhu vazhinji vari kuchema. We also want to, we're trying to qualify you to be able to answer these issues that we are going to talk in this program, which is called Ngati Dzifambire. You were educated in Zimbabwe, then you migrated to United Kingdom. What was your good reason to go to United Kingdom?
So pandakaenda ku United Kingdom in the year 2002, mudzimai wangu akange ari student nurse, akanga achidzidza pa Coventry University. So then I was already a practicing lawyer here in the UK. So we decided that I will join her for a period, and then when she finishes her studies, then we will relocate back to Zimbabwe. But when she finished, we had a child. And at that time, the economy was not performing as much as it is doing now. There was a lot of hyperinflation that was happening at the time. So we said, let's just tarry for a few years and see what our things do. Then indotazokotanga tichiendese vana kuchikoro and so forth. So 1 year led into another year. At that time, I think from 1999 to 2002, most people thought they would go to UK for 6 months, maximum 2 years. Now it's 20 years. Even against my recent arrivals, I talked to her now. When I talk to them, these guys, they say 2-3 years. Then I say to them, that's what I said when I came in 2002, and I'm still here. And my oldest one is 21 years old.
Yes. You know, we want to talk about immigration issues. And, you know, during 1999, 2000, 2001, up to maybe to 2005 and some other years, there was a massive exodus of people going to relocating to United Kingdom.
Yes.
And during that time, people were applying for asylum, excluding applying for visas for people who were going to study nursing, civil engineering, and other things. But there was a massive movement of people from Zimbabwe going to. Others had to go through asylum during that time, and things have changed. We have seen in recent times, maybe a few years going back, where we have seen the government of United Kingdom introducing the certificate of sponsorship visa, which is also called a care visa, which a lot of us would jump onto because it didn't have much qualifications that were needed. All you needed to have was maybe a Red Cross certificate, having a few skills to be able to look after, the people who are disadvantaged, and a lot of people have gone there. Now we have an issue of so many people who have been scammed through these certificates of sponsorship. Maybe you can start by explaining to us what is a care visa so that other people who are aspiring to go there can also understand the background of where we are coming from, and then you will then explain to us what is a CoS certificate.
Okay,
Yes.
so in terms of background, company inenge iri ku UK inotarisirwa kuti irecruite vanhu vanogara mu UK. So it's expected to recruit British people, Irish people, people who have got indefinite leave to remain or my dependents. But in the care sector, there's been a challenge of getting staff, particularly that UK left EU in 2020 through Brexit. And the Europeans, most of the Europeans didn't decide to settle, some decided to settle. So there was that vacuum of employees yakange chidiwa. So as a special concession, nyadzema work permit, my work permit back then akazochinjenesha kunzi ma certificate of sponsorship. Company apply inonzi sponsor license. Ikapiwa sponsor license inenge yakuvumidzwa kuti itore vashandi kunze kwenyika. So mu care sector makaitwa a concession yakaitwa kunzi vanhu vanogona kutorwa at a lower level of skills, at a lower level of salary, kuti vakwanise kuita fill in that vacuum. So a lot of care companies that there and mostly are owned by immigrant people that have been in the UK saw an opportunity to recruit from abroad. And people have been recruited from many countries, but the top 4 countries being Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, and India. Those are the top 4 countries that have brought a lot of carers in the UK. So vanhu vakapiwa mukana wekuti apply my certificate of sponsorship. So what was happening is kana munhu akaona job advert inenge iripo, Zimbabwe iri pa list ye who inonzi the red list. Red list inoreva kuti inyika dzisingabvumidzwa kunzi makambani aite go into the country and try to recruit direct from there, because inyaya yekuti zvoni World Health Organization yaida kubalansa ma-health workers munyika imomo, because vaiziva kuti ma-countries aya anogona kutorerwa ma-health workers nema-developed countries vongoita factory yekungodevelopa vashandi vachingotorwa. So vashandi vanongoita apply for a job through a direct advert yavaona, whether vaiona pa website yecompany kana kuti vaiona pa LinkedIn or online or wherever they've seen it. So because of that, there was a gap that was identified even in among scammers. They started to act as my agents anokwanisa kurecruita vanhu, and vakabva vatanga kuti kubhadharisa vanhu mari dzokuti kuti recruitment agent tinoti bhadhare mari dzakati, vanhu vakabhadhariswa mazana akawanda ma-thousands akawanda emari dzavakabhadhariswa 7,000 ma-10,000 people from India and Pakistan up to about 20,000 dzavaibhadhara. MaZimbabweans on average maybe 5,000 7,000 pounds dzavaibhadhara kuti vachipromiswa kuti zvokwanisai basa. Some scammers acho, unfortunately, some of them have been these so-called recruitment agents, and some have been middlemen, and unfortunately even some people that have had their own professional people have also been involved in this thing yekuscama vanhu. So vanhu vaibvisiswa mari dzekuti tenga CoS, kwenzi kutenga CoS kana kuti kunonzi kutenga CoS. CoS zvichireva kuti certificate of sponsorship. Vanhu vaitenga ma-CoS, but CoS pamutemo haritengwe. Home Office inoti CoS i-cost ya-employer, so inonzi immigration skilled charge ne-CoS fee zvinofanira kubhadharwa na employer. Mushandi chaanogona kuzongobhadhara ndechekuti pamwe akutenga tiketi rake, pamwe nema-relocation costs kana asiri kukavhwa necompany, ma-visa costs and so forth, ndo zvaanenge achinzi abhadhare iye. But vamwewo vashandirwi tinonzwa kuti vaibvisisa mari idzi, vamwe vanga vasingabvisise, vamwe vacho nanga vari mascammer. Scamming yacho inoenda from different levels, different ways, kuti pamwe employer abhadharisa mushandi CoS fee ne-skilled worker charge, kana kuti zvoni pane ma-middlemen anga aripo, ma-recruitment people anga aripo, nevamwe vanhu vaingozviitawo vanenge vachiitawo nemakambani vachinyepa. The worst one I think ndeyekuti pananga ritori vanhu vangatori matsotsi aivo vekuti vaitotora logo yecompany tikishandisa imimi SMTV munhu onyepa kuti ndiriwe SMTV otora logo renyu otizondiri kuimpula ku SMTV otora zita renyu Mr Sylvester oriisa papa nekerekeni ipapo iyani kakavhura bank achimimika madetails enyu kana kuti apiwa cash kana toita sei patinozokufonerai kuti akuzokufonerai kuti Mr Sylvester ndakayo kambani kwenyu ndinechori chichi zvese zvinenge zviri fake.
Right. Hey, now that vanhu vakawanda vakabirwa mari, toda kutanga nevanhu vakabirwa mari ivava. Imimi you have what FM, which is Tanlo Solicitors Limited iri mu UK. Imi munobatsira here vanhu vakafanana nevanhu vakabirwa ivava nekuti ndo vari kuchema vane misodzi pamatama. Mr Nyamayaro, you recall kuti a lot of people they were selling their stands, a lot of people were selling their cars, a lot of people sold properties, some of them even houses, in order to migrate to UK. And those people, they ended up not traveling to UK, or they traveled but there was no company yaikwanisa kuzovapa mabasa. How are you helping such people vakafanana naivava?
Yeah, pane zvakawanda point amataura yekupedzisira iri important. Pane vamwe vaiti zvoni, and pane saying kakange kazobuda kekunzi chikuru kuenda.
Right.
Saka pane kwanga kutanzi even CoS racho rina ma0 hours, but munhu aitozvoona ndasvika ikoko. But kubatsirwa vanhu ava, there's different ways in which people can be helped, and each case is different. It's important for a victim of scamming to contact either a lawyer or mama advisory services ari kwakaita sana Citizen Advisory Bureau kana uri ku UK or Malay Center kana kuno ku Zimbabwe kune ma services anogona ariko. But kana uri, if you're a victim of fraud through CoS, ku UK pane inonzi action fraud.
Okay.
You can approach the action fraud. They can be able to help you. They will record your case and they could be able to help you. You can also approach the police. The action fraud works with the police. It's a part of the police. But kana ku Zimbabwe, you can work with the police. Social media, among my social media platforms, depending on what is on, were you using those social media platforms to track the communications that you were using with that scammer or scammers. And again, whether or not you had a contract, you can approach a lawyer or a legal advisor. They can be able to help you. So vamwe vanhu vakanga vari involved mascams aya vanhu vane maprofessions avainawo. Saka kana munhu iye ari nurse, for example, whether ndekuno kuZimbabwe kana kona ku UK kana ari lawyer kana ari social worker, vane regulatory bodies avainawo. I always say to people, if you know kuti anoregulate kwanechi, you can say kuti ndogona kuripotera ku regulatory body yako nokuti kana, for example, anga ari nurse, that's unfitness to practice.
Okay.
Yeah, because you didn't act ethically and so forth. Kana ngari lawyer, that's an ethical so there's different things that you can try to get your money back or whatever you lost. But scammers are always ahead of the game. Because mangu scams achona haitike direct. Saka kana mari chifana kuyaona Andrew Nyamayaro inotanga yapinda mu bank account ya Peter yozopinda mune ya John paino zosvika kuna Andrew Marie aisiya chatrack yake and Peter yoye pamwe muzukuru wa Andrew angachitogara kumusha angusongo yachita sei. So they use a lot of tricks which are in their bags, but potentially there's ways that the people can use to try to recover their money.
Pane statement yamataura yevanhu anachikuru kuenda ava vane fear yekuti vazosvika ikoko vaomerwa basa hakuna, company yaya yakavaunza haiko. Company yamataura imati Action Aid inokwanisa action fraud inokwanisa kuvabatsira kuti vaningire, but vari kutya kunosvika kukampani iyoyo nekuti ari kuti inini ndogona kutosungwawo neniwo. What's the situation kune munhu ane fear yekunosvika ku-action fraud?
So vanhu vakadaro vanofanira kuti vaende, and I've seen those cases in practice myself, whereby someone atoenda kubasa kana kuti akusvika ikoko akusvika kunyimwa ma-hours kana kuti company yachange chiti 0 hours kana kuti pane mamwe mafraud akaitika akutya kuenda kunoreport for various reasons. Some of the reasons could be they are related with this person, that they brought them, or it's a friend of a friend, or it's your sister's friend or your brother's friend. Saka wakutya kuti ukamuripotera wakanganisa ushamwari wake nabhodhi wako kana kuti iyo ihama yako kutyira zveukama and things like that. And
kunokupa ukama unenge uchinzi wakasungisa mwana wedu akakuendesa ku-UK.
Exactly. So and kana vamwe vachona nokwachiza kuti ivo maoko vana kuchena because vachiza kuti haafanira kubvisa mari idzi posi basa rinofanira kuriwana mahara. Saka akutya ndakabvisa dzimwe mari and so forth. But in such a situation, ultimately you are a victim. So as a victim, you need to go and get help from these organizations. They will help you as much as they can. Even your lawyers can help you. They should be able to help you. And kana pane zvinenge zvichida kuzogadziriswa that can be sorted. But if the crime has been committed by that scammer, then you should be able to get help.
You should be able to get help. There are also scammers who, when they realize that they have scammed a lot of people and some other companies, recruited more than necessary in order to harness as much money as they can. And then after doing that, they realized what they were doing was out of flow. They knew from the word go that they don't have work enough to give these new recruits 40 hours a week. But what they wanted to do was to make money. And then after doing that, after scamming people, they migrated to Zimbabwe. Now they are building mansions here and starting new companies. Can those people who have left UK for Zimbabwe or any other country be traced in order to compensate these victims?
So there was a case that was reported on social media and in the mainstream news about 3-4 weeks ago in the UK. I think it's a company that was based in Northampton where someone was taken to the police nenyaya dzekutora mari dzevanhu.
Right.
And that company or individual had their bank accounts frozen. That money had been recovered by the police. So there's that facility inogona kuita kuti mari dzacho dzogona kutrackwa nekufrizwa nehurumende. And in addition to that, there is among my departments a home office nemapurisa inonzi modern day slavery and human trafficking. So those guys can also get involved where human trafficking is involved and modern day slavery is involved, where people are being made to work under conditions that breaches basic levels of safety, for example, that are expected. So it's potentially possible that those people that are hiding money or that have moved money outside of the UK jurisdiction for the money to be recovered. Even for those people who scam people from Zimbabwe and they've moved the money out of Zimbabwe, I also hear that the police in Zimbabwe has been also making arrests of certain individuals that have been scamming people as well. So it appears that the authorities in both countries are aware of this situation and are trying to deal with it.
Kana muchangotibata tiri pano paSly Media TV, chirongwa chinonzi ngatidzifambire, tiri kutaura nava Andrew Nyamayaro, vanove director wecompany inonzi Tan Law AW Solicitors Limited iri ku-UK kuti vatipe mazano marenge nevanhu vakabirwa mari dzavo nezvimwe zvatiri kukurukura muno muchironga vakabirwa kuburikidza nemaCoS. Kana uripo unogona kutumira comment yako paFacebook kana kuti paYouTube, toiverenga. Kana une mubvunzo wauda kubvunza kuna vaNyamayaro wakasununguka kuti unge uchidaro, kuitira kuti tinzwisise kuti ndezvipi zvamuri kusangana nazvo kana matambudziko amuri kusangana nawo kuburikidza nerwendo irworwo rwamaida kuita muchienda kuUnited Kingdom kana kuti muriko kuUnited Kingdom you are stranded. Ngatitaure zvemunhu alright ariko anatoendawo kuchikuru kuenda munhu ako basa hakuna, munhu yeye anobatsirika sei?
So kana munhu
asi visa akariwana ako basa hakuna, ma40 hours akapromiswa ayaya hapo, haasati ambosenza atone 6 months ariko kana kuti mashifts acho haasi kukwana, anoita sei munhu akadaro?
Munhu yeye ane maoptions akati one day. First option ndeyekuti akasaina contract naemployer wake. Sa contract iyo inenge ichitaura kuti per week uri kushanda ma-hours mangani, angave 37.5, 40 hours, 60 hours, whatever it is. So this contract is saying, the employer is effectively saying, I've got work. And you are saying, I'm available to give you my services as an employee. I'm selling you my time as an employee to work for you. So whether or not that person then works, in terms of the contract, they are supposed to get their salary. Even if they do 0 hours, they are supposed to be paid.
Okay, is that so?
Yes, because of the contract. But the law also recognizes that you cannot just wait for a long time without looking for alternatives. You have to mitigate your losses, so you have to get an alternative job. There's a lot of the home law, the Home Office guidance is being broken in at a number of levels. The employment law is being broken at a number of levels as well, because in terms of the Home Office, Panama reporting and Panama updates through the sponsor license system and so forth. So as just says, they are likely to be broken in such a situation. So munhu anogona kutsvaga basa nemwe company anogona kusuwa current employer for their outstanding salary. They can whistle blow on the company. They are protected to do that. They can go to the employment tribunal, etc. So that person has got options that they need to practice. But sometimes nokuda kwekuti zvoni anenge ari padifficult situation, asvika haana mari, haana knowledge, local knowledge yeku-UK yekuti legal system inofamba sei, ma-services ekunokwana accesswa sei, ma-medical services ano accesswa sei, kana ndine chinhu socially chandinoda kuti ndigare chinhu chinoitwa sei. Because sometimes when this thing started, you could hear that people are living in squalor conditions, and they don't know where to report. Kuti kana ndichigara paimba ine makonzo, kana tine mapete, kana tisina mubhedha, kana tatiri overcrowded, ndinoripota kunani. So because of the lack of that knowledge, they might not be able to then enforce their rights, but they've got rights that they have. Panama services are equal, like a citizen advisory bureau, my law center, masolicitor, malawyers akaita sesu kana cha-approach kwatogona kubatsira and so forth nemamwe ma-charity organizations. So it's just trying to get the information. As you know, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, yes indeed. You were also talking about I think it's called the switch visa.
Okay.
Switch visa, where you want to join another company because the one that brought you to United Kingdom has let you down. And I think there's also a situation where you are allowed to work 20 hours. Is it still there in another company?
Okay.
While you are employed, you have a contract with one company that gives you 40 hours a week, but you were also allowed to work for another company separate from as part-time, where you get 20 hours work. Is it still like that?
Okay. So panyema switch again, my switches are akasiyana siyana, itori topic on its own.
Okay.
Because pane switch yokuti uri kubva pane imwe company uchenda pane imwe company uri same industry. Sauri kubva mu company A healthcare uchenda ku B healthcare. So that's fine, but pane pamwe pekuti uri kuswitcha say from student to healthcare, then ine ma-requirements ayo uri kuswitcha from being for example kana ungochi-employwa as a nurse or a social worker wauda kuita healthcare chinenge chine ma-conditions azo. But kana so you have to look for advice again kuti uone kuti maswitchiro ari kuita zvinofamba sei, zvine ma-requirements azo. When you switch, you have to get a new visa, you have to get a new certificate of sponsorship, that calls for costs as well on the company and costs on each individual person, the employee. Kana waswitcha kana une mhuri, you can choose to switch their visas at that time when you are switching yourself, or you can wait until their visas are coming to an end to switch abakuya pane pa-current one yawinayo. So there's a possibility of switching, but again, switching yacho within the care sector yange ma challenges ayo pakuti a number of companies had challenges with the Home Office to such an extent that the Home Office either suspended their sponsor license or revoked the sponsor license. And those people that had the employers' sponsor licenses revoked, you have to look for work from, they are given 60 working days from the date of the notice they receive from the Home Office, either to move to another company, switch whatever switch you are doing there, or leave the country.
Okay.
Leaving the country is always an option available to everyone.
Yes, yes.
But coming back, ikainonetsa sezvamambotaura paive kuti pamwe munhu akatengesa imba, pamwe kanga ine basa rake rakanaka ranga ainaro wanga uri manager kubank, but bank harina kukumirira rakatoriplacea manager kudhara kwato nevamwe, saka kuchidzoka kwacho kana nyadzi chaidzo ngoti ndisina chinhu chanaenda nacho. Yeah, so then panyaya yema 20 hours unenge uchishanda pamain job rako. 20 hours is additional work that you are doing with another company, and the home office expects you to be doing your main contract, fulfilling your main contract. You are doing a full work job and the 20 hours, so you cannot just be doing the 20 hours without fulfilling your 40 hours,
right,
because that's a breach that is happening there. But in reality those things do happen.
In reality,
iwe ungazomirira kuti aukandisi kushanda ka 40 hours kwakapiwa 0 kweko kwaudza ndikupa COS rine 0 wakutoenda kuti kwende kuti uwane mararamiro, because you have to ufana kuwana chikafu neaccommodation pamwe wasiya vana nemhuri kuZimbabwe wauda kuti uchengete futi.
Pane situation yekuti kana munhu ari ikoko they are intimidated not to work 20 hours, and if they want to work 20 hours for another company, then the current employer refuses to give them a reference.
Okay, so
what can one do in such circumstances?
So the employer doesn't have an obligation to give a reference in most of the jobs, except a few jobs. But if they do give a reference, it should reflect the truth. Afane kunyapa employer mo reference. Kana asingade kutaura nyaya yacho yese anogona kungonyorera inonzi factual reference inengotaura kuti Andrew Nyamayaro akashanda sakera kubva musi wa 1 January 2024 kusvikira musi wa 1 October 2024. So then you didn't say anything else, because the reference inowanzobvunza mubvunzo yakawanda kudarika ipapo. So it is unreasonable for an employer to withhold a reference for no apparent reason, particularly because you want to spite the employee for whatever reason that you want to spite them for. So in those situations, again, it's a case where the employee have to consider, should I try to sue this person in terms of employment law, reference, is it justified and so forth, because akutokwisa below poverty line noda kokuti akungokurambira reference for no apparent reason. So yeah, pane inonzi ACAS, I advise every employee to subscribe to their emails. They do my free emails inotaura nyaya dzevashandi neemployment and so forth. And before you take your case to the employment tribunal, you have to go through ACAS for mediation and so forth. So it's important for people to receive email shots from ACAS. And I also encourage people to receive email shots from the gov.uk website. There's a lot of information that comes from the government, which people can subscribe to, whether it's a visa or it's a basa, and a lot of things that people can do. So yeah, they've got options that they can pursue.
Before one is scammed, how can you fact check if a company is registered and ready to recruit, and they've got a license to recruit from UK, having been given the mandate by the Home Office of United Kingdom to recruit from abroad? How can one check before they are scammed?
Okay, so particularly for Zimbabweans in this case, like I said, Zimbabwe is on the red list. And can a company be red list, agent, then that's a red flag. Because I found a recruit through an agent, and I found a recruit direct in a company, responding to a direct advert of the company.
Right.
So when I can send the agent and the buyer, my WhatsApp group, my Facebook group, X, be very careful. And the process it start from social media and finish from social media. There's a problem there, because what angle recruitment per WhatsApp, opens recruitment per WhatsApp, there's an issue there. And pane inonzi company's house, kana company iri registered, inofana ngeri pacompanies house
United Kingdom
United Kingdom so kana iri A limited unofana notsvaka A limited weiona and then kana pane mazita arotaurwa vanhu panenge paine ukaenda pacompanies house pane tab re-overview, tab re-filing, tab re-people, I think there's another 40 tabs. So you have to look at all those tabs. Who are the people that are in there, the shareholders, the directors, the filing of the company. Check on their website as well.
Right.
Like I said, there's also scammers that mimic this information.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some scammers that mimic this information, but I would say
they clone exactly the same information and
So I would say don't just phone to my mobile phones or my WhatsApp numbers or which. Try to phone the landline that is listed on the website of that company. Panel on the CQC, even every healthcare company is supposed to be registered by the organization which is CQC, Care Quality Commission. So you can also check on the Care Quality Commission. Panel contact details a company iyoyo. Panel registered manager. Pane registration yavo and unobva watoona kuti zvoni vane vamwe
physical address
and so forth and vamwe vanenge vakanzi zvoni requires improvement or vanenge vakanzi good or excellent classification yavanenge vakapiwa ne-CQC. So kana kuri kuenda company yakanzi requires improvement, for example, then you see kuti there's some issues in that company.
Right.
But again, the old system yashandiswa ne-CQC vati vakauya kuita inspection inogona kulasta for a few years so pamwe vaimprove kudhara. So check all those organizations or credible sources of information, CQC, company's house, website of the company. And panel on the sponsor license register, it's a document that is available online. It's an Excel spreadsheet. I don't know why they did it in Excel spreadsheet. I, for one, I don't like Express Excel spreadsheets.
They can be tampered with. Is that a good reason?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But panel my independent private websites, panel on the sponsor license checker, I think. Inobuditsa companies are pure sponsor license, companies and sponsor license are suspended, and companies and sponsor license are revoked. It's updated every day. It's one that you can also have a look at and the sponsor register and looking at the background of the company. I would say talk to someone on contact details dziri pa-CQC nepa-companies house rather than dzawapiwa nemunhu ari kudhila newe because anenge akaklona zvimwe zvese izvi. You remember ikone kuna anonzi ma-virtual numbers. So ma-virtual numbers ndeyekuti ndinotenga landline number. It will cost me £3-4 to buy it, and then maybe to maintain it I need about £2. Inenge katonzi 02477 which is a Coventry code. But number iyo inodivert to my mobile number. Saka ukandifonera pa virtual number iyo iri kuya pa mobile number.
All right.
And then inenge chitapia as if it's a general, but just check those things that I'm talking about.
Okay, right. Well, still on the certificate of sponsorship visa, it allows you to bring your dependents. If you are a wife, you'll be able to bring your own husband and children alike. There's also a situation where the husband who is applying for a dependent visa is refused entry into UK in terms of applying for a visa. Have you met those challenges at Tanlo solicitors?
Okay, so just to clarify, those people that got their visas before, off my head, I think the 11th of March, 2024, those people can bring dependents. Anyone who got their visa after the 11th of March, 2024, they cannot bring dependents anymore. The government did to curb the numbers that were coming in because for the K visa, there was
especially
at the time,
African
and elections and so forth.
So
the law changed. So if you are switching from another visa coming to K, or if you got the visa after 11th of March, then you can't bring dependents. But assuming you are in that lot which can bring dependents, kana murume wako akarambirwa, we have to look at the refusal later. Why was he refused? There are different reasons why they've been refused. Maybe they believe that it's a sham relationship or a sham marriage, maybe you didn't submit enough evidence to prove your relationship. Because when we speak about relationship, maybe we are talking about if you've been staying together, do you have a marriage certificate? Do you communicate? Do you have any documents coming to the same address? And that's an issue for people coming from the developing world, because how many people have got bills in Zimbabwe, for example?
Not many, only a few landlords.
Or how many people have got bank accounts, knowing the history of things that have been happening?
Yes.
People
Not
trust their mobile wallet more than they trust a bank. And so people would trust their pillow more than a bank and keep their money in the pillow.
You can't blame them, because they were forced into that situation
So
where some money disappeared in
not
banks before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So information here is going to be lacking.
Right.
But you won't get application without considering it, because I don't know this is basic information. Initially, the Home Office was quite easy in giving these visas, but in the Home Office has tended to tighten the boat now. It's now
waingonyepera kuti mukadzi wangu iri nyaya yekuti muendesa nevhisa rimwe chete nemari imwe chete,
and then mungonochata nhasi oro mangwana mobva mangoningirikena because pana mwakanga kuita musikanzwa wokutengeserana dependence mazona.
Okay. Kuti ini ndawana visa rekuuk hausi kuda here kuita dependence yangu, nokuti inde ndakabhadhariswa 7,000 iye indovanda kuti uchibhadhara kana kuti half of that
or whatever or ndotoita profit.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyone making an application to the Home Office, just make sure that you prepared properly. If you are using anyone who says that they are going to be your representative, whether it's a lawyer or a friend or the employee, whatever, the employer, they have to know what they are doing. Because it comes and hurts you. Because my refusals akatanga kuitika manje, credibility yako affectika. So there's a lot of people who claim to be lawyers on the streets there who then maybe mess up your applications. So Pane Murume, I've just given a few examples of what might have happened there.
Including, and then Evana, Panama refusals, Futanetwa. One of them that I would want to touch on is, I would want you to comment on is for single women who have got their children. They have been raising these children on their own, but when they relocate to UK, the Home Office also wants to be satisfied that you'll be able to look after these children. But as a single mother, you are not able to provide enough information for you to be able to go with your children or for them to join you. Are you dealing with these cases at Tanlo solicitors?
So if you are a single parent or a solo parent and you are on a care visa sponsorship, there's what is called the sole responsibility. The Home Office want to prove that you have got sole responsibility of this person, of these children. So sole responsibility means you are the person who has got the ultimate decision upon the life of this child. You are the one who decides which school they go to, which church they go to, which activities they do, which subjects they do. If they are staying with your mother or your sister, you are the one giving them instructions of what that they are going to do. You pay the school fees. Economic supply only is not a ground of sole responsibility, because when I school fees and rent, that's not sufficient. They look at a number of factors. So there's a number of issues that has happened on this ground. One of them has been people panicking, and then they go to look for guardianship, court. Some people have been writing affidavits. Some people have been going to look for a parent that was non-existent from when the child was born. But for whatever reason, tinorarama munyika ine culture. Saka munhu ari kutya kuti ndikaenda nemwana wemunhu kunze kwenyika kumusha kwake zvikamutera ndaiko
it is not zero.
Saka rega ndiudze baba kana mai vemwana kuti ndakubuda nemwana. Saka pauchazovaudze papa Home Office yakuti kana uchitombotaura naye hauna sole responsibility. But I've been living with this child alone for 13 years, 14 years or 7 years or whatever. Kana ari mudzimai pamwe akangosiwa iri mimba and so forth. So Home Office doesn't necessarily understand the culture out there and how people, the traditions of people that directly are from different countries. That's why you need assistance from experts who would then look at kuti kana iwo usina mbobvera wamborarama nababa mwana vakakusiya iri mimba kana kuti vakakusiya iri one year mwana and so forth. Why do we have to include this person now, you know? Or why do we have to seek for guardianship through the magistrates court and so forth? It's not going to firingidza kana kusimbisa case yako and so. And the other reasons that complicates my issues evana ndeyekuti, and for so many reasons as well, ekuti vamwana vamhanyire kuti avatori ma-birth certificates on time. So mwana azvarwa anogona kuzotorerwa birth certificate akuda kuenda kugrade 1. Saita 7 years asina birth certificate or 6 years or whatever years dzaita. Kana kuti birth certificate rarasika razotsvagirwa certified copy, you know, munhu anongoritumira that an explanation as to why you're sending to the home office a birth certificate rakabuda nezuro. Iye mwana akazvarwa 13 years ago. You have to explain kuti it's a certified copy in order kuti rekutanga rakarasika zvakadai so and so forth. And kana kuti mazorealize kuti panga paine spelling error. Unongwaziya sometimes ana mabharani anosenza kuma office. You know, your name has got so many variations.
It is for my one. It's it's written as SIL, and when I go to some places they write it as SYL.
You see that?
But I'm the same person with the same name.
Yeah, so you have variations where you're not going to consider my problems. So I would consider birth certificate or a passport or which is all those things needs to be explained. So Panjanya SO responsibility, I would say, if someone wants to make this application, I know that the streets of WhatsApp and the streets of Facebook give a lot of advice, but go to someone who knows what they are doing and get advice from there, because so responsibility involving a parent who is non-existent or who is not contributing to the life of this child might backfire.
For those that have been able to settle in United Kingdom, there is also a culture shock where the pattern of life that we lived in Zimbabwe allowed a woman's place to be in the kitchen and look after the children. But then when we migrate to go to United Kingdom, many people have faced so many challenges. I, for one, as a father, I've never, I would say, kana kungokesesa mwana. Kana kuti mwana akazviitira tsvina ndotofungidzira kuti ndototi amai torai mwana wenyu kana azviitira tsvina, and then ndazosvika kuUK ndakuona kuti taakuzviita tese baba naamai, and amai ndo vakatanga kuenda, baba ndobva vazoteera vakunzi bvisawo mwana manapukeni. Nyaya idzodzi dziri kukonzera matambudziko akawanda mumba. What's your experience around that area within the Zimbabwean community in the United Kingdom?
Pane singe taronawana ndinotaura nevanhu kudhara yainzi you can dimaenzanise to some extent. To some extent it's true.
Mandifungisa zvakawanda.
Yeah, because kana maenda kunze kwenyika kuZimbabwe, and I understand maybe some people in South Africa as well. Ndeyekuti kana maenda kunze kwenyika, you are now immediately you are the only unit that is available there. Baba na mai nevana venyu. Uchiri kuno kuZimbabwe unenge uri iwe baba nevana vako, then kune network yefamily yakakura, vazukuru, anatete, anasekuru and so forth. Vanogona kubatsira ma-neighbors. Pane mumwe mutemo iri kuZimbabwe iri kuUK rather, iri very strict when it comes to children, safeguarding of children and so forth. Yakanyanya. So kana murume abva kuno kuZimbabwe pamwe ndianga remain breadwinner and has never done any domestic duties or household chores as well. Aenda kuUK mukadzi ndiye akabata CoS. Saka mukadzi ndiye ari kutospenda 8, 9, 10 hours outside of the house. And the husband iwewe ndiwakufanira kutotsvaga basa flexible to suit around the sponsor, and the sponsor is the wife. Saka iwe wakufanira kuti kana kuti mukadzi achisenza masikati wakufanira kusenza manheru, kana kusenza manheru iwe kana masikuru anzi achiitwa ndiwakufanira kuita, kana mwana ari mudiki achiitwa personal hygiene nevabereki ndiwakufanira kuita personal hygiene iyo
wakutomugezesa
wakumufidha
raive basa raamai kuno kuZimbabwe.
Amai vari kutouya pavari munzira vari kutokufonera kuti mabika here varutotarisira kuti
Afudza baba vekuZimbabwe.
kuti mabika here matsvaira here and so forth. So it's a culture shock yevanhu vazhinji vanenge vasinambobvira vambozviexperienza kuti unogona kugeza vana, unogona kugara nevana, you are the home, you are a home dad, as they say, unotogara pamba ne. So not only from a cultural point of view, from a religious point of view as well, because my religions anenge achitaura kuti murume musoro, mai and different things. So someone is having a shock from cultures, having a shock from religion. And akuta fit in the system iyoyo. It's also to Kutalo solicitors in a group that Telegram where we discuss such issues, problems that are faced for people that are migrating to the UK. Samanji baba vakufunga kuti mai vari kuita sei vakutongwa, but mai pamwe vanenge vasingatotongiwo zveshuwa vari kunyatsokuita in all honesty. And mai all of a sudden vakuena more money, mai vakutambira 2000, baba because muri pa agency job noti ndimuri flexible ka ndima kutambira 500 and so forth, mabhiri ari muzita ramai saka vakunzi unovhaira mai vanovhaira nokuti ndakutambira mari yakawanda, saka yakunzi ngaichuya mupoto. Vanhu vanodhila nemari zvakasiyana, vamwe vanoita majoint accounts, vamwe vanoita masingle accounts, vamwe vanogara mameeting mudzimba,
vamwe vanoti yako ndeyako,
ndisukansela mafamily kuti fambisa mari zvakaita sei, vanhu vakasiyana siyana, but vamwe vanoti yako ndeyake, mumwe anotenga imba yake, mumwe anotenga imba yake, mumwe anotenga mota, mumwe anoita sei. But all those things causes problems because now the tables have turned.
Yes.
Mazwana uchandisa mutauro wokuti nzanzi tsuro yabata reckon.
Shiri
yabuta reckon, beg your pardon. Saka shiri deyane reckon saka iyo ndo kutonge. So unfortunately we have seen and some consequences of that yakuti pamwe baba now resort to violence, pamwe baba now resort to substance abuse, vakuchirova mai, vakuchirova vana, kana kuti vakuchiputa madrugs, alcohol, madivorce akuwanda, machallenges akuwanda. Obviously machurch mamafundisi ari kuedza kubatsirawo, professional organizations are kuedza kubatsirawo nekuita sei. So ndomamwe macultural issues ari kuitika iwayo, even pakuchengeta vana vacho. Muchengetero watinoita vana kunoku wakati siyana neku UK, kunoku pamwe mwana akangoita zvisiri zvaanogona kurohwa, either nerwoko kana neband. Ku UK kurova mwana chinhu chisinganyanya kurekomendwa chaizvo, zvinokonzeresa maissues chaiwo, because vanozvibata, because mwana maticha anogara achibvunza vana zvinhu zvakadaro directly and indirectly, anogona kunzodrowa picture, odrowa mwana ari kurohwa, unzi ndiani ari kurohwa, ndini wakarohwa nani nababa, and so forth. Because all of a sudden social services involved, professionals are involved. Visa rinogona kutopera, rinogona kutorevokwa nekuda kwenyaya dzeidzodzo dzezvinhu zvakadaro nekutadza kubata vana, kana kuti vana vanogona kutozopedzisira vatorwa nesystem, vakupindwa vakuendeswa mufoster care and so forth. So these are some of the things that I think employers, when they're employing people, vanofana kuita this as part of their induction and onboarding system. Yokuti uri kuona kwauri kubva iwe ona kwauri kuuya zvinhu zvakasiyana. Kunoku work ethic yakamira so, family ethic yakamira so, economic finances dzako nodzirana so, because my finances edu budget unenge uchiita kazhinji kacho unongoiona ichipinda muaccount, unongoiona yabuda, unongoiona pabank statement, ndakatambira. Asi munhu akachifunga kuti vanga ari kuuya kuzotambira mazimari
akawanda,
but yekurarama yekudya tikunoona kuti vanongoda kudya nevana vako inenge iripo, but inozosara kuita masavings iripo here pamwe haisisipo.
And extended family kuZimbabwe iringoti pawakacrossa border havakutofona, havabvunze upenyu, vanobvunza mari kuti kuno zvinhu zvakaoma.
And we waifunga kuti chavaka imba kuborrow in 6 months. Wakasikatombofunga uchitungisa bwa tofunga kuborrow chavaka in 6 months. Also kuti that will be 6 years or if anything or more.
Saka tazosvika palevel yekuti church yapa counseling, other organizations are mu UK imomomo apa counseling. Some would come and do mediation to try and make amends kuma families ari kuita ane culture shock iwaya yekuti vakugara vachinetsana vachiti unondidherera panapa iwo. Zvinhu izvozvo zvaramba hazvizi kuita. mosvika palevhu yekuti zoti maakuda kutoti haiwa zviri nani hedu tisagare tese. Pane two issues. One yekuti munosheyana sei maproperty ari kuZimbabwe neari kuUK iko. Two, vana vanochengetwa sei. Muri kusangana nezvakadaro here kutanlo kwavanhu vachiuya vachizoti isusu tatoti zviri nani zvedu tisagarisane nekuti kuUK imo munhu akatoti ari kundipa nigirikini is abusing me emotionally. Hauna kumbodirwa mbama, hauna kurohwa, hapana kuti domestic violence, hapana kuti emotionally ari kungondi abuse. Utonoripota utonzi baba budai mumba, and then unopedzisira kuti ndindakakuunza futi kuUK but iye zvezvo wakuita
wakundiburitsa
wakundiburitsa muri kusangana nazvo here izvozvo zvekutanlo law society?
Tiri kusangana nazvo zvinhu zvakadaro zvokuti vanhu pavakabva kuZimbabwe kana kuti kunze kwenyika vachiuya kuUK vaitarisira kuti upenyu huchaimprove. That's the whole aim of going abroad, kuti people are expecting that they're going to improve their fortunes. But unfortunately, for whatever reasons that they face, financial and the family dynamics, the culture dynamics, people then tend to break up, and madivorce akutoitika. Vanenge vachidivorsa, vamwe vari kutora madivorce muUK, vamwe vari kutora kuno kuZimbabwe, but madivorce akuitika. Kuti kuUK kana muchidivorsa mutemo haubvunze kuti muri kuramba ndirani chii. It's called a no fault divorce system.
No fault divorce system.
Saka ukangofuma nhasi uchingofunga kuti nhasi handisvida mukadzi wangu, hapana nokubvunza kuti why, unongoenda kuti handisvida mukadzi wangu, kuenda kucourt, divorce yenyu yoitwa.
Kusiyana kwenyika.
Kusiyana kwenyika. Kuna zvokuti pane zvakaita here reason. Unoona munoziva mutauro nevarungu wekuti it's not you, it's me.
Okay.
Saka vanhu vari kurambana. Saka kana vanhu varambana, there's a lot of repercussions then that are there. First of all, pane issue yevana, custody yevana. Who's going to stay with the children? Is it going to be shared custody? Is it going to be the mother staying with the children or the father staying with the children? The other one with visitation rights or access to the children, things like that. Worst case scenario, if there's violence and safeguarding issues involved, neither of the parents will have the children will be taken into by social service into care. So I don't think everyone likes the last option.
No.
Then the other issue in Nyayama properties, the world is now a village. People have properties in the UK, properties in Zimbabwe. Pafana kuzoitwa financial order or financial arrangement yekuti maproperties ekuUK anodividwa sei, maproperties ekuZimbabwe anodividwa sei. The challenge maproperties ndeyekuti a court order of UK is not automatically enforced or enforceable in Zimbabwe. It has to be registered in the High Court of Zimbabwe. Alternatively, you just start a new process kuno kuZimbabwe pertaining properties are kuno kuZimbabwe. So that's property sharing inenge yakuzoitika nekuconsider kuti who contributed what, when and so forth, etc. Then ane ma-resources akawanda nena ma-resources mashoma zvichiita zvakadaro. So yeah, those are the challenges that are being faced in terms of properties and in terms of children. Maybe linked to that, some of the things that we've experienced is one of the partners, maybe between the husband and the wife, passes away. We've had situations of akangowanikwa akafa mumba, my friends atrai kumufonera asikuwana. So panosara pane issue yevana, panosara pane ma-issue ma-properties, pamwe vanga vari separated but vasiri divorced, property inoenda kunani and so forth. The law has got its own path to follow. With the children, again, there's a path to follow. It's also important for people to consider those situations where one of them can pass away and leaving the other when they are abroad.
Planning ahead. Okay. There's something I want to revisit again. Is it possible that one can take children from Zimbabwe to UK without the knowledge of the other spouse?
Yeah, so we are now getting into the realm of child abduction. where
Can you explain that? Yeah.
Yes. So if you take the child, in this case, tutaranyeso responsibility, tutaranyeso kuti my parents ese aripo, but wakuchitora vana and very involved in my life yevana. Ukatora vana kubva kuZimbabwe uchivaendesa kuUK, the other parent asingazivi, maybe wajestira mapepa ako narameno zvaitika, by God's grace maybe wakubudira kuenda unawo wega. Uyozozvisiya kuti uenda nevana. They have got a right to sue you in court, and those cases have happened in life, in reality. They've happened where, and the person in Zimbabwe can actually get the legal aid. And I don't know about that. Lawyer and hurumende yeku-UK.
Okay, it's good information for Zimbabweans to know.
Saka machild abduction cases ariko. Likewise, ukoda kutiza nevana kubva ku-UK without the other party knowing that can be an issue that can be raised as a child abduction. I think a few days ago there was a lot of debate happening online. Panengwe post yakakandwa panengwe group rekuti remuna ishungurudzwa na sponsor wake, but akazongo vanevana ku UK achiana kuno, and people commenting different things there. So the law can take its course either way in that case. So my child abduction cases, it's something people that will need to be careful about. You are allowed, I think it's about 30 days or 1 month where you can take the children outside of the country without the other party knowing from the UK side. But if it's a long-term thing, then proper arrangements needs to be made.
Proper arrangement needs to be made. Yes, we want to maybe dissect a little bit and then come back. We were spoken about culture shock and things like that. There is also some differences between our field of specialties which we are trained. For example, you are a lawyer, I'm a journalist, and I've been educated in Zimbabwe. You were also educated in Zimbabwe. I remember when you were talking to Trevor concerning how you migrated from Zimbabwe to UK, you were meant to write an exam in UK. But all in all, you were thinking that I'm a graduate lawyer from the biggest university in Zimbabwe, which is University of Zimbabwe. And when I went to UK, everything should just be automatic. Even if I'm given an exam, closing my eyes, I can write it and pass. And then you were saying you failed the exam. Why is it so? Yet you are coming from the same field. You are all called solicitors, barristers, lawyers. What was the difference?
I think the main reason was maybe I was cocky to say I'm a lawyer already.
Yeah.
This is just a transfer test.
Yeah.
I've done 4 years of learning, of hard learning. That is a constitutional law. That is all this kind of laws. More than 60 modules that I've done at universities. What can 4 modules do to me?
Yeah.
But when I got there, my shock was that I failed those exams. Because A, I did not prepare myself a lot.
Adequately,
adequately.
Yeah.
And B, as I said, it was just me and my wife. And by then we had a child. So I'm helping my wife with the child care, running errands. And at the same time, I'm working full time because we have to meet our bills. My wife, I think she was still a student or just finished as a student, but Band 5 nurse lowly paid at the time. So trying to mix and jingle all these things together. So those are some of the reasons why I ended up failing. And to anyone who is trying to relocate to another country, please don't look down on these transfer professional exams, because it happens in law, in journalism, in nursing, social care,
civil engineering, teaching.
I don't know why they think that maybe the UK has got that superior training than in other country. But in Zimbabwe, for example, you've got a very dynamic, very good system of professionals. Our nurses are very good. Our social workers are very good. Our lawyers, very experienced people. A nurse from Zimbabwe, ndikatora nurse ari pamakoni polyclinic pabeka. Anogona kuti as good as what a doctor does in the UK, because I don't prescribe, I don't run necessary, I don't run clinic ariega, ward ariega, and so forth. A lot of things which nurses in Zimbabwe don't necessarily in the UK don't necessarily do. But for social workers, they have to do the adaptation course. For nurses, they do the adaptation course. The lawyers, they do the SQEs or some chartered courses there. So we just need to prepare ourselves. Whether politically we agree with that or not, but with things that needs to be done.
Yeah, it's across all sectors, really, even bus drivers, even HGV drivers, lorry drivers in Zimbabwe, they call them. They also have to go through some form of training.
Yes, so if you've got a lorry driving license in Zimbabwe, UK unoskotangira pa class 4, which is a normal car. I understand the DVLA in Zimbabwe and in the UK, and the authorities in Zimbabwe are negotiating something, but at the moment unoskotangira kuzasi. So unofana toskotanga kana ungori bus driver unofana totanga driver motikari wotanga kuita bus driving. Yeah, so you're right to say it's across the board.
It's across the board. In a nutshell, as we conclude this program, what other services do you offer at Tanlo solicitors in the United Kingdom that could be of some benefit to the Zimbabwean community and the other nationalities?
Okay, so patanga tichitaura ndataura kuti sometimes there's complications of life. And I would want to encourage everyone listening in Zimbabwe and UK and worldwide. It's important to consider things such as a will. It's important kuti unge une a will rinotaura kuti chichi chaitika kana uchinge wafa. Property yako nekuvana vako. And nenyaya yeculture yatari chitaura iyeye dzimweni dzenguva kana uri murume usina kutaura kuti zvinhu zvako zvichafamba sei kana culture yakuuya bamudiki mukoma wako kana munin'ina wako akusikotora zvinhu pakawada usikogara nhaka kumudzimai wako and so forth. So a will is quite important to have. And the second document, particularly in the UK, is called a lasting power of attorney. A document raunoda kunge uinaro usati wafa in case of incapacity in terms of mental health or in terms of financial issues happening to you. So if you get involved in a road accident and you cannot go to the bank, for example, you can't swipe up a phone and say you need someone to manage your finances. So you need a financial lasting power of attorney. Kana usisina health yako, mental capacity or health wise uchakwanisa kumeka my decisions, you need a health lasting power of attorney. Even you can own a business, it's important to have a continuity plan. Okay. For the business, it's important to have a lasting power of attorney for your business. So those are the things that we offer. We draft wills, we draft lasting powers of attorney, we draft my trust deeds. My trust deeds akanaka, it's a way of managing in tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, and so forth. Tax efficiency. Vanhu vane mari havabhadhari tax yakawanda, varombo ndio vanobhadhara tax yakawanda. Why? Because they've got ways of hiding their assets or dealing with that. Let me not use hiding. Dealing with the assets in a clever way. So he owns nothing on paper. Right. Trust. Arugara mimba ye trust. Arudriva motikari ye trust. Abhadhare matax akawanda. Iwo zvinhu zviri muzita mako. Saka urubhadhara tax dzakawanda. So there's a tax efficiency. Well, inonzi wealth management. So we help with
you offer
documents.
Those services, yes. Okay.
But in my business, we help with business advice, drafting of documents, reviewing of contracts, litigation, dispute resolution, and so forth.
Do you also help those who are on dependent visa? Can they open a company while they are in the United Kingdom?
Yes. Those who are on dependent visa, they can open a company. In fact, even in Zimbabwe, a dependent, anyone based outside the country, I'm going to open a company in the UK. It's quite possible, and we can help people to do that. So if you're a dependent, you want to run your company, we've helped some people that are now running their own courier companies or that are running a few things that they are running as dependents. So that's quite possible.
Okay. Yeah. It's good information for people to know, because we might end up all being in care or in factories or warehouses picking and packing, while there is an opportunity that a Zimbabwean can still explore and become a businessman in the United Kingdom. And lastly, if we were going, we know our president, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, is a listening president, and there's also the mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business. If you were going to be given a chance to, as we conclude this program, to speak to him concerning how the law society in this country or the legal field of fraternity in this country can be revolutionized for the betterment of the country, what would you say to him? And also, if you are going to be given a chance to speak to the Minister of Justice, so I'm putting you on the spotlight, Honorable Ziyambi, what is it that you can say to both of them separately?
Okay, so
considering they are also lawyers.
Yes,
and you are a member of the Law Society of Zimbabwe.
Yes. Yeah. So before I go to the lawyers, I would say to His Excellency, the President, on the issue of the carers, if they can consider the model that has been used by the Philippines. The Philippines have entered into a memorandum of understanding with the United Government when it comes to the healthcare workers, and it has protected their citizens from abuse.
Okay.
Because you can, for anyone who is going to recruit, they have to go through a certain set conditions, and when the employees come to the UK, they go some kind of induction with the authorities involved. You know, the consulate is involved, the embassy is involved, the workers are involved, the employers are involved, to such an extent that if someone passes away in the UK, the employer's got the responsibility to repatriate
the body back to the original country.
Yes, but because we don't have a memorandum of understanding between our country and the UK when it comes to healthcare companies. That's why these things of abuse have come to be. But as a lawyer...
Before you move forward, there's also an issue where the government is supposed to issue a clearance certificate to the nurses, and the government is afraid of issuing those because of fear of brain drain.
Yes, and I do understand very well why the government does that, because they've trained someone for 3-4 years, or how many years they've trained, they've invested in that person, and they need that person either to pay a certain amount of money or to at least give a service to the country for a particular
be bonded for a number of years.
Yes. It's quite understandable. It's not only the UK that does it, but it's also other countries that, not UK, they use Zimbabwe that does it, but a number of countries that do that. But maybe I think if someone is to be given a choice, then the fees that they have to pay back needs to be reasonable as to how much the government have invested to them if they are going to release that person or to give that person an opportunity to go to the UK or abroad. They still benefit the country, because I believe they will still send remittances to Zimbabwe. They will still build properties or buy properties. Most people still have Zimbabwe at heart, buying properties, investing here, doing works of charity. I came here to Zimbabwe solely and mainly because I was attending a presidential charity dinner for the Law Society of Zimbabwe, where they are doing social responsibilities, sending girl children to university. So people donate to such initiatives. People start charities that they do here benefiting. So one way or the other, the government will still benefit from that individual. Yes,
you are talking to the president.
Now to the president, His Excellency, and he's a lawyer like myself, and he's also a businessman who is heavily minded in business. As for the lawyers, and I think our system as lawyers, we are still a bit outdated in terms of how we operate the Legal Practitioners Act and so forth. I think we need to modernize to allow lawyers who are trained in Zimbabwe, or lawyers of Zimbabwean heritage, Zimbabwean citizens abroad and in the country, to be able to operate in Zimbabwe. I think that needs to be revised, and a country like India have done something like that, and it's quite producing results. The unfortunate bit is that you'll find big corporate companies from abroad that can break through easily in Zimbabwe. than myself, a Zimbabwean person. So I think to His Excellency and to the
Minister of Justice.
Yes, the Minister of Justice, tikatanga a consultative process. Yokuda kuona what can be done. I'll be very happy to be part of the consultative process to contribute to how can we liberalize without losing the independence of lawyers and so forth. Because of how we operate even here in Zimbabwe, where lawyers, for example, are not allowed to advertise, for example, we then tend to lose work to fake lawyers or people who can easily get away with things, but taking work for my colleagues that are operating here in Zimbabwe. So I think a consultative meeting or process is necessary. Some of the things that we do even in the judiciary, if you go to the Supreme Court, you have to wear a black suit and a white tie, a black tie and so forth, the wigs and so forth. Is it really necessary? Is it justice? It's not justice, it's just a tradition. Even UK is not tradition here. Supreme Court suit and so forth. And so those are some of the things that we need to consider to reform our legal system.
Okay. Does AI have a place in the law society?
AI has got a place.
Artificial intelligence. As we conclude this program,
I am a fan of artificial intelligence in law in general. A document that used to take me, say, 2 hours to draft now takes me around 30 minutes to draft because I've got access to AI with the case management system that I use, with the facilities that I have. So AI is now very good, but at the same time we need to be mindful because it's a computer, so you have to review and revise whatever document has been drafted. So AI has got its place in law, and AI has got its place in any other profession. So I would say let's look at AI. I'm very happy that Zimbabwe is now looking at these things. They've computerized the courts. They're computerizing how they file documents, how you save documents. Systems are getting up in place. It was a late start, but it's a start that is happening, and it's a good start. For me, 80% of my clients, I don't see them. I just use Zoom or Teams. So it's good technology that we use. So I would say we need to engage more technology within the legal sector. And I'm very happy that the government also introduced another player in the provision of internet and broadband in the UK. I think that will help colleagues here in Zimbabwe to deal with things much better virtually.
Okay. If you were going to be given a chance, 2 minutes to sell TAN law solicitors who are based in Coventry, in Warwickshire, in the United Kingdom, what would you say to our viewers? What makes you unique as TAN law solicitors?
TAN law solicitors is unique in the sense that we are a company that focuses on the needs of the people. We are not a company that is like a warehouse firm of lawyers, which is primarily there to generate income and money and billing and so forth. We walk with you on your journey. We talk you through your options. We take your case as our own case. We have dealt with the people from different nationalities, different countries, different businesses, and we put everything that we have in your case. You are not one of a number, but you are the number that we support. So that's why as TAN law solicitors, we have seen progress in our company. The latest financial report that we submitted, or that I signed a few days ago, showed that we had a 20% turnover increment and a 30% profit income increment. So it shows that we are trying to do our things better and benefiting our clients.
How do people connect or get in touch with you?
So for TAN law solicitors, you can search on any search engine. If you put TAN law solicitors, you can you can be able to see us. And our phone number, it's UK 02477 632323, or you can send us an email on info@tanlaw.co.uk. TAN has got 2 N's, TANN. So info@tanlaw.co.uk.
And your physical address, where can we find you in Coventry?
So our head office is in Coventry, number 4 Manor Terrace, Coventry, CV 1-2 November uniform. We have got 3 other virtual branches in Birmingham, Leamington Spa, and Rugby.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you. After your busy schedule, we hauled you to come to Sly Media TV. We appreciate so much. We know when you come to Zimbabwe, you want to see your relatives, there are business meetings, so many people to meet, but you had to find time to come and have a conversation with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Nyamayaro.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so glad, and anytime I'm your man. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anytime, he is our man. If you have any issues to do with anything legal, you can contact them. There you are. We have been speaking to Andrew Nyamayaro. He's the director and principal solicitor of TAN, which is spelled as TANN, which is TAN Law, LAW, Solicitors Limited, which is based in the United Kingdom. He's a Zimbabwean, educated in Zimbabwe, and also grew up in the streets of Chitungwiza there. So you would know that when you are in the United Kingdom or in Zimbabwe, you've got legal issues that you want to speak with him. You can speak to him in the language that he understands. So there you are, people that are in the United Kingdom or elsewhere. You've got immigration issues, family law, anything legal. You can contact them on the number that he has given us or the address that he has given us. Their website is at tanlaw.co.uk. Chasara nchekuti ndionekere tarumbidzwa rudenya pamwachete na kundai chitate vanga vakati batira mishina pano pa Sly Media TV. Zitando Sylvester tafumane simbiye basa chisarai.